Mike Wild. Hi, Mike. Dave. Hi, Dave. Good morning. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. Good morning, Mike. Brad Campbell. So we can see if everybody combed their hair this morning. Oh, because we don't want to see people's. I think you just answered that question. The complication we have to figure out is because we have to live stream this. Is how we hook up two different ones with our limited technology. We're not as fancy in well IT and don't have a good IT department as Warren County does. Well, would you like some help with that? Well, yeah, I'm working to figure it out. I got a demo of Zoom so we can figure it out. There might be just some things we can do, but we'll figure it out from there. Well, Mike, we are streaming it on YouTube at the same time we're doing Zoom. Yeah, I'm not sure how they do it, but we figured it out.
Well, I was just going to say the Chromebook that I use to live stream is why I would
take the Zoom demo and see what that is, and we'll go from there. So, well, actually, if you guys decide to do it, I suggest that Allie do the same thing so she can help manage it. And you can run the meeting. So.
Well, Mike, here's the thing. The Chromebook that I use to live stream the meetings would be the same Chromebook that I'd have to use to Zoom because it's got a camera. My big office computer doesn't have a camera or audio, so I can't live stream and Zoom at the same time. You know what I mean? But if you want to buy me another Chromebook, that'd be great.
Oh, well, that's...
I'm kidding.
We'll work on it. I think maybe Zoom might have the same capabilities as what we're using, but I want to check it out and see. Did Craig join us yet?
Off mute. Let me start the tape recorder.
And I would appreciate if you're not talking to put your phone on mute because on mute so we don't have any feedback like we did last time.
Okay, attendance. Craig Leggett.
Here.
Michael Biddle. Brian Campbell.
Here.
Mike Wild.
Yep.
Dave O'Brien.
Here.
Is anyone else on the line? Kara, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, anyone else?
I'm here. Jack Kelly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So the first thing I need is the park. Jack, you got any potential updates?
Well, basically, the project with the solar company is still alive. Jeff, who was at our last meeting of the committee, sent it to the attorney, and I talked to Jeff, I think it was yesterday, and he had not heard back from him. Their offices are down by the Tappan Zee Bridge or Ariel Coleman Bridge. So they're right in the bullseye of what's happening down there. So I didn't really expect to hear something back, except for the fact that they are still very interested. There was a report at first that there was other users on the line, and they didn't know if it was going to be feasible. They believe that they can move forward with capacity from the solar project, but it won't be as large of a project as they had originally indicated. And so since the last committee meeting, the chairman and myself had a conference call with Jake Kenyon and his real estate person. His plans changed now from wanting to go to lot 3 and possibly coming over to those lots across from the wood shavings place and to do something larger. But even since he came up with that concept, because of what's happening here around the world, the impact on the economy, he's putting things on hold a little bit, as is the other party who has someone to build him a warehouse for his business. He's still waiting to see how the economy shakes out. So we still have 3 potential projects out there at different varying points, and until we can take and find out what the status is going to be with this economy, 2 of them are on hold. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So with that, are they sticking with the same price? They can try and I thought we had them up to what, 165? Was that correct? My memory should.
Yeah, I think your memory is correct. I don't have notes in front of me or the contract we put back. Some off the record comments is that they didn't think that amount would still stand because of the smaller size of the facility. But we're only talking here a few $1,000, so I don't think it's going to make or break the project one way or the other. We're the parts that I think that we still are discussing, and maybe Kara can comment on this, because of this from her suggestions, her comments. They have a provision in there as it relates to confidentiality, which is not an unusual paragraph that's put in commercial transactions, because the IDA is subject to control and transparency, etc. We needed to cross that out, and then there's some other discussions in there as it related to who's going to be paying what filing fees and when and things of that sort. So the deal, in my opinion, is still very much alive. It's just a matter of getting down to the details. Karen, did you have anything else to add to that?
No, I don't have anything else to add. I know that the number is 165. They haven't commented back on our most recent set of comments, to my knowledge, or the council hadn't. He tried to have a conference call, but I guess I wasn't sure that where they were on their review of our comments, so they were asking us to comment, and I didn't really have anything to comment on since they had responded back yet. But it sounds like that's where they are now in the process, like that's reviewing our most recent set of changes.
Yes, that is correct. And I apologize, I may have confused things a little bit, because when I sent my original transmittal memo, I indicated that those were comments that I had made changes to the agreement and still left a caveat out there subject to attorney review, and I think they wanted some further comments as to what had been put together, but we've got that straightened out, and it's just a matter now of having their attorney, whatever his status is, I don't know if he's sick or whatever it is, but Jeff had not heard back from him, and I think it's fully reasonable in light of
just joining? Okay. I will need an approval of March 4th, 2020 minutes for the executive part. So moved. Second. Say your name. That was Brian that moved it, correct? Claire seconded? Any further discussion? All in favor? Oh, we gotta do roll call, sorry.
Craig Leggett,
Yes.
Brian Campbell, Brian, are you there? Can you guys hear me?
The music is already, yes.
Oh, okay. Mike Wild.
Going to abstain because I wasn't there.
Okay, and Dave O'Brien.
Yes. Any opposed? Okay. Old business. Dewatering land update. Been some ongoing conversations with them. WL is discussing with Fort Ed Rail EDC the fact that they may want to purchase some additional property. They want to make sure that the traffic flow is good for their trucks and whatever, tractor trailer and shipping. So they are discussing that. I got a proposal and I received a map of the proposal, and Fort Ed LDBC is discussing this, see what happens. We've also given the prorations of what's due at my estimate, after looking at it with or I should say our estimate of what is due at closing for prorations, what's due from each party. So that's in process. We are having a conference call tomorrow about comments on the road deed. They have some comments on the road deed and other things they'd like to discuss. So we'll be having that conversation. They are hopefully going to look at doing their subdivision starting hopefully in the first part of April, the first part of May, I'm sorry, which would clear to close somewhere around August. So that's a progress on that. I think that Kara can update us on the status of the deeds for all the properties. If you could at this point, please, Kara.
Sure. We have received a proposed deed from the EPA. We reviewed that. We sent it on to the title company. They've reviewed it. They have a couple of questions. And WL has also seen it. They do have a couple of questions, which I think will be part of our conference call tomorrow. And then we're just kind of working out the logistics of getting all the additional forms that are necessary with council at EPA. So hopefully we'll have that all wrapped up here shortly, and then we'll be able to move forward on that piece at that time.
And then we'll have some subdivision of the other two pieces of property.
Yeah, we're working with the town to determine, in light of the current situation, how the application should be made. And right now they don't have any meetings scheduled, but we've been advised that they will hold a meeting once they get an application from us. So we're just working out the specifics to get that together. We have the mapping is completed, so I'm just finalizing the application. I need to get the sign off from WCT with respect to their piece and the town in order to act on their behalf. I'm sorry, the clearance board.
Okay.
Okay.
So, it's Mike. Yes.
I have a question. It's primarily related to the acquisition of new property for WL. Is this property they're looking for to add, does it have any impact on other sites? And the ability to kind of preclude other sites from being sold or developed?
No, actually, what it is going to have a challenge with is and they've offered easements, is with the rail access on the back end. They've offered to work out any type of easement we need because they're not going to build there. They just want to make sure that trucks can flow there without any impediment. So we're going to be working on that. I got some comments back from Davidson, and we're going to be discussing it and find out how we do that. So no, it would not impact anything else.
Okay, thanks. There is a possibility that with the economic situation and their delays, they may be looking, well, we're going to have to revisit with the new acquisition, we're going to have to revisit the base values for the pilot agreement. So we'll have to revisit that, and we may end up looking at restructuring a little bit how the pilot's in place, but more information to come as we solidify some of the other details. So hopefully by the next meeting, by the full board meeting, I'll have some other information. Because adding additional property is going to end up changing their base values. Any questions? Town and County thanks. Welcome, Mike. Town and County tax update. Allie?
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. The two that have been late are still late. However, they actually reached out to me prior to April 1st and let me know that payment wasn't going to be made before April 1st, and to go ahead and incur any additional penalties and interest, and send out a new statement for them, which I did do. And one of them did try to pay. I got most of the money, but they were short on a late payment. So that is all they owe. But I am in contact with them, and I think they're just not in the office right now to do anything, but we're all in communication.
Any questions for Allie? Thank you, Allie. Recaptures. I think we're back to the spreadsheet that was out last year. There were a few questions on there. I think we resolved all but one. 354. Kara, can you give us an update where we stand on the recaptures?
Sure. We received everything from the Market 32 project in Port Edward. And Allie went through that. I went through it as well. And we've got all the SC 340s received. And there were 3 appointed agents with respect to that project. So it was 354 Broadway, who was the owner of the property, Price Chopper, which is obviously the entity that's there, and then they had their contractor there as well. Let's see, I'm missing the name of them. Hang on one second.
Bath Hatfield.
Yes, thank you. And so none of those entities exceeded their authorization that they received based on the SC 340s that were submitted. 354 Broadway, they were allotted $29,750. They reported that they used $29,750. Price Chopper was allotted $522,023. They used $513,735.49. And Beth Hatfield had an allotment of $326,340, and they used $112,648.51. So there does not appear to be any need for recapture with respect to that project. We are waiting on an SC 340 for Lake George Plaza, which is the Price Chopper that's in Warrensburg. So we cannot finalize that one. And I believe from an email that Allie sent this morning, we're still waiting on one item from Patty Company and Morris Products Project to confirm their figures as well. there was a change in ownership with Patty Company Morris Products, so I think that might be maybe, and I believe that Price Chopper's just not in the office right now. Is that right, Ellie?
That's correct. I am reaching out to them through email, and she did try to check every file that she had available to her. But what I'm specifically looking for, she says, is in the office, and they're not able to go there. As far as Patty Morris goes, I'm talking to the CPA that normally handles the ST340s. She seems to be in the office. And she said that she would get what I'm specifically asking for by the end of this week.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, Craig here with a question. On one of the documents there, page 4 of 6 of the price number things, it's a total Warrensburg sales tax savings, but all the other documents have to do with the 32 and Fort Edward. And so is that summary for total project sales tax savings Fort Edward IDA 12/31/16? Is it just a typo where it says total Warrensburg sales tax savings 179,000?
And Price Chopper's their own documents that they prepared, like it's a cover page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I think Allie, we confirmed with them that was because those numbers matched up with the Market 32 project, not the project for the Warrensburg project.
Okay.
I think they have the same form. They have the same exact form for the Warrensburg project as well.
Okay.
If
Thank
you
you.
look at the top, it says it's kind of darkened out, but it says Fort Edward IDA. And
Yes, it does.
I think, yeah, it just carries through on the bottom there. That's the type.
Okay. So, Kara, I mean, we've been asking for, in some cases, we ask for these 340s. If they can't find them, what are our options at that point?
So, I mean, if they can't find them, they're still required to submit them, even if they're not timely. So, the next step, in my opinion, would be to say, well, you need to prepare it for that year ending, whatever the year that's missing, and then file that with Tax and Finance and give us a copy as well. If they can't find them, that's not, that doesn't alleviate the need to still prepare them and file them. So that would be the next step, is to say, well, regardless, we still need those and they need to be filed.
Okay. What if they can't find the records? I mean, there's been multiple changes in ownership. Now, I don't know if they have or not, but I'm not even sure what year we're looking for these people.
I suppose that that's the argument they're going to take, and their accountant is also going to say that they have no records, and then it's up to the IDA if you want to take action that they're not in compliance with the closing documents that we've entered into the agreements with them, because this is a requirement for them to fulfill as part of the project. To me, it's a difficult argument to make that we don't have any of these records. Nobody has any of these records with respect to this project that was undertaken. Certainly, the contractor is still in business. They must have the records. Somebody's accountant must have them.
Okay, well, let's see if they get it to us this week and go from there. Okay, thank you. Anything else here, Ken? Go ahead. Hello?
Hello? Me?
Was someone trying to say something? Okay, I thought someone was trying to say something. Okay. Then new business.
business, Jarrett contract. Jarrett contract has run out. Several years ago, we went back to them and said that we were asking for look at renewing the contract. They've been our engineer and they have all the information there. According to our procurement policy, we do not have to go out for bid on these. So what I'd like to do is get ready for the full board meeting. They have sent a proposal that was sent out for you to review. There is a change to the prices. Tommy's still on the phone. I guess Tom left us. Was that the first item went up from $95 to $105 an hour. Project managers went up $15 an hour to $100 an hour. Senior project, $80 for project professionals. That went up $5. And $75 for designers, plus up to $60 off administrative assistant. So that's what they've got at the table. Any discussion on that at this point?
Mr. Chairman, Craig here.
Yes, Craig.
On page 4 or 5, ownership/use of documents. I always wonder about this. I was wondering if I could get some clarification. It says that all documents will be owned by the company, Jarrett Engineering. How does that work when we pay for services? Obviously, we have use of what they prepare, but why does ownership be retained by the engineers?
Kara, that's your alley.
I mean, that's pretty standard that they would indicate that they retain ownership of it. If the relationship, if the IDA no longer uses Jarrett or breaks ties, then they retain ownership of all those documents. You may have copies of those. You're not holding them out as your own with respect to being able to say that they are your documents. They're retained by the engineer as they prepared them. I'm not really concerned about it. It's a standard clause that's included in most engineering contracts of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
For you to rely on for a certain purpose, 5 years from now, he may not want you to take that position based on changed circumstances. And if he's no longer working for the IDA, you're not going to be able to have that right to say, we own these documents, you should rely on these now. So they take the position that they maintain them.
Okay.
Any other questions? So I take a motion to move this to the full board for approval.
Craig here, I'll move it.
Moved by Craig, second.
Brian, I'll second it.
Brian seconds. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, it's Mike. I want to go back to what Kara said. It is a standard clause. But if we decide to use another engineering company, all the data that they have, we can't get access to it. It's incorrect. And it would be wise for us to kind of hold on to this just in case that did happen. That for some reason we didn't want to use this firm. And we wanted to give the data to another firm to help us do something else.
That's a good point, Kara.
I don't believe that he's indicating that you have to return anything that he's prepared to give. Or are you saying his background that he might not have shared at the outset?
Well, that's right. It could be the raw data, right? So I'm just thinking of an example that I've had where it's a survey map, and the survey is all electronic, and they give you paper documents. Well, if I wanted to use is another survey, I'd have to have them recreate that original survey electronically so they can do the next things that I needed done. And we'd like those, I think we'd like to have those electronic documents at our disposal.
You need to share with another surveyor.
Just as an example, just in case we wanted to do something like that.
I mean, we can ask him if he's willing to do that. As far as, I mean, I'm not sure that we would have the capability to save those documents in the format that enables another surveyor to work within, you know, to modify those documents. Like, for instance, my office wouldn't have the software capable to handle, we don't have any of those programs in New York Vehicle Survey.
I get it, but another engineering firm would have that similar software. I would check.
We want a clause in there that says, if I understand it correctly, we would want a clause that allows us to request that the documents in their original form be transmitted through a third party of our choosing, if we request that in the future. That's really what they're saying.
I'm not sure if we want to go that far because that'll raise all sorts of red flags for those guys. We would just like the electronic document, the original electronic document also.
I mean, I don't think he would have a problem at sharing with us at this point any of the electronic documents that he has in his file. I mean, you're able to have those if he has them in electronic format versus a paper file.
It's all related to that question of ownership, right? So, if they have ownership, are they saying that no one else can use that document to provide additional information for us? And are we locked into using Jared forever?
No, we're not. But I mean, if we went to a different engineering firm, they would not maybe necessarily want to rely on everything that Jared has done to date either. They most likely would want to verify the information, start from that information and verify, and then issue their own documentation as a professional, as a professional engineer. If they have to stamp thing or if they have to note it as being their opinion with respect to something, I don't necessarily know that any, and it's not just them, it would just be any new firm would say, okay, we're going to take this and go from there. They would want to verify the information.
Of course, but it's more than a broad starting point on a blank page. It's got a lot of data on it that they can use to verify and then move forward. But that's all I'm thinking of is that this electronic data is important. And, if they hold ownership of that, then we don't ever get it.
So basically, what we want to make sure is we don't necessarily share, from what I'm understanding, we don't necessarily share if they say that they're the owner of it, but we want to have access to it.
Well, that's where we get into the legal term. What's the term of ownership versus access and use? So it could be that, if I go further with this, ownership could mean that it's an original format. Nobody can change anything and put their stamp on it. But from a use standpoint, we can use that to do our own modifications and put a different stamp on it.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, I think that happens all the time. If someone retains the services of a new surveyor, for instance, and there's already an existing survey, you provide them with the already existing survey, they go out, they re-verify, and then they create their own document, their own survey, based on the one that's already prepared. I think, so for instance, you see this a lot in a contract situation where the buyer will say, if I do all my due diligence, I'm at the end of the day not going to share any of my studies with you. And sellers sometimes are like, well, I really want you to share all that information with me because if this deal falls apart, then I already have all these studies and information. I think that's similar to what you're saying, Mike, is that you want to still have all these studies, all this information, even if the relationship doesn't continue, because you might be able to use all that in the future.
That's exactly it. And this really stems from my experience with contract and corporate contract law. It's whoever writes the contract, it's in their benefit. So we just need to look closely at whatever someone else writes a contract for us and we sign. Just because it's a standard clause doesn't mean it's in the best interest of us. So I think you have, in essence, of what I'm looking for. And I think we should do that with all of our contracts moving forward. But that's just my thought. Thanks.
Yeah, I can certainly reach out to him and ask him to make an addition to I can suggest language that would give you rights to access those documents at any time, including at the end of any contractual relationship.
Right, it's electronic documents also.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea, Gary. Just reach out to him and see what you can work out, and we can amend the language in the contract. Okay? Thank you. Any other comments? All in favor? Roll call. Brian?
Yeah, on that same issue, they will probably be at our meeting anyway, our regular meeting. Will they be available to talk? Garrett?
We can add them on.
But I'm thinking maybe we could hear what they say that language means. I'd like that explained more. I think Mike brings up a great point, and I would like to see what, like you said, it's probably written for their benefit, no matter how you look at it, but it might be nice to hear their explanation as to what that means, because maybe it means a little something different, and maybe they can put it in layman's terms where we understand it better.
Okay. No problem. We can ask them to do that.
Just a second, just to add on to what Brian said. Brian, we can ask you guys what they think it means, but it's the attorneys in the court system who have to decide that. So I'm more
I agree.
what Garrett can work out.
Yep. No, I agree.
Okay. No other comments? Roll call, please.
Craig Leggett,
Yes.
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Mike Wild,
Yes.
Dave O'Brien.
Yes. New business hearing reporting. I think that's you, Ally.
Yep, the Paris report for IDA and CDC was submitted on March 31st, and so far so good.
And we made it on time. Thanks, Ally. You did a great job on it.
Thank you.
One other thing that I don't have on this agenda, but I do want to talk about, is something we should discuss, that if at a certain point, I know the county's made provision for this, if at some point there's a further lockdown on being in the office, being out, I think we should adopt the same thing that the counties have done. If people are out because they're not allowed to travel, if they don't have if they request to work from home, if not, they would still be paid their regular time during that period of time. This is nothing that the IDA controlled, nor the employee controlled. It's out of our hands, so we shouldn't allow our employees to suffer from that. So I'd like to take up the same type of thing both counties have done. Is during this period of time, whether they work or not, or we still pay them. Is that agreeable to people?
This is my guess. I'm looking forward to my next paycheck.
Okay, me too. Any other comments?
Mike's on the top of his game today.
Yeah? All right, can I have a motion in accord?
I'll make a
I'll make that motion. Motion or second. Whichever one you like.
Motion by Brian, second by Mike Wild. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Craig Leggett,
Yes.
Brian Campbell,
yes.
Mike Wild,
Yes.
Dave O'Brien.
Yes. Any other business come before the committee? Okay, I'll adjourn the executive park meeting, and I will open the CDC executive governance meeting. Do we still have the same? Ally, just do a quick roll call.
I was just
will
gonna
you
say, yeah, let's just do it. Okay, so Craig Leggett,
Here.
Brian Campbell,
Here?
Mike Wild,
Here.
Dave O'Brien.
Yes. Here. Okay, first item of business is approval of March 4th, 2020 business for WWCDC Executive Park. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Craig.
Motion by Brian, second by Craig.
Yes.
Any omissions, corrections? Roll call, please.
Craig Leggett,
Yes.
Brian Campbell,
Yes.
Mike Wild,
Abstain.
Dave O'Brien.
Yes. Motion carried. No old business, no new business. Any other further comments coming before the CDC?
You know, Mr. Chairman, if I may, Craig here. On the minutes, there's present, also present. I've seen on minutes where there's absent as well, so that there's just a full record of who is there or who could have been there. Would that be too much to add an extra line onto these minutes to have absent?
I'll defer to Ally.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that's no problem.
Okay, thanks, Al.
And I did want to comment, I really like the new format of the agenda. Looks really good. Thanks, Ally.
You're welcome.
No further business. I'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, everyone.
Be well, guys.
Bye now.
Yeah,
You too.